Humans, welcome to Think Share. My name's Zach. I'm here to bring to been thinking about, sharing about, talking about, listening to, reading about that doesn't belong in math class. If you're new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe. Right now, I'm at my parents' house doing some laundry. Our house does not have a laundry machine, so I'm taking advantage of living pretty close to my parents, and my parents living pretty close to where I work, and had lunch with my mom after school today. Haven't seen her in, well, I saw her on Easter, but in general, I haven't seen her in a couple weeks. How's it going, dude? So one of the things my mom and I were talking about that I thought would be a fun topic to talk about tonight was we're talking about the value of the news. And at one point I had said, how much of what we see on the news is really what we need to watch, or like how much of what we see on the news is like really what we want. And I feel like there's a challenge. I've decided that the news for me is just not that valuable. And I think a lot of people make the argument saying, if you don't watch the news, then you don't know what's going on with the world. But I say you're watching ABC News with David Muir. You got 10, 15 stories, maybe 10, 15 things that he's going to talk about. And how many of those 15 things are really relevant to the lives that we live? How many of those 15 things are really relevant to what's going on in the world? So if we think about all the billions of things that are going on in the world, why is it that those 15 stories are the most important to us as American people? If there's 330 million of us and every one of us has a story for the day, and we come home and a family member says, "Hey, how was your day today?" Or a coworker that says, or a roommate that says, "How was your day today?" How come all of those other 330 million stories are not more important than the 15 that we see on the news? So the case I was sort of making was that no matter which way you slice it, it's not all fake news, because they're not real. And at the same time, if we look at the perception that it creates for us, we might have a tainted or inaccurate view of the way that the world is. And I think that the idea of if it bleeds, it reads, if you've ever heard that phrase before, it's kind of the idea that on the news, if if it's talking about murder or just bad things, people dying, there's a much higher likelihood it'll end up on the news. Most of the time you don't hear about great things at the top of the news. When they say breaking news, how often is it something good? So I've kind of made the decision for myself, and I think a lot of people my age are probably doing the same thing, is we just don't watch the news. One, it's not out of habit. Two, we really have the choice not to, because we don't need to watch the TV to get whatever it is that entertains us. It's on our phones now. And I think a lot of people are straying away from the traditional model of like national news or local news. So it's really been interesting. I feel like I get most of my news from John Oliver because I find him really entertaining. I feel like he finds a good story that sometimes is super relevant to what's going on, and at the same time, sometimes it's like just a story I would have never thought of. But I love watching John Oliver because he makes me not feel so crappy about the world, even when he's talking about really kind of crappy things. So, and the reason I'm calling this video Millennial Problems is more so because I'm in the laundry room of my parents' house here, and taking advantage of their hospitality. But I think one of the other things that I've been struggling with that I was talking with my mom the past hour or so has been, and I'm really not taking my own advice on this one, is I've been wanting to make a music video, and I've shared lyrics to it multiple times on this channel, and I've said what I want to do. It's the one about the thank wall in my classroom, and I've been really, really self-conscious in terms of asking coworkers to collaborate on it with me. I've been asking them if, well, I've been wanting to ask them if one or two of them would come into my classroom one of these days, and all they really have to do is say one line when I want them to. But I've been so afraid of having my, creative license with this and sharing it with them, and allowing myself to be judged, that I just haven't done it. And so I really have not been taking my own medicine here of like just going ahead and like being okay with failing and like getting rejected. So I want to apologize for not taking my own advice when I preach so much about stepping outside your comfort zone. I've been really stuck on this one like the last month and a half, just trying to be a perfectionist about it and trying to have things so perfect that I haven't taken action to make them happen. So I want to apologize for that. And at the same time, I'm going to promise I will have it done. I'm going to get this thing recorded in the next 3 days. It's going to happen. I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. And if you're someone from my community, talk to me about it. I would love to find some teachers that would be interested in collaborating with me. Maybe it's during one of my lunch blocks. Maybe it's right after school. Tomorrow I have an opening, and I'm going to really try to recruit one or two teachers, maybe even a third, and maybe a student to videotape it. But I have the whole video in mind, and I just got to explain it to somebody, and it can get done. So I'm gonna make that happen. I'm really looking forward to it because I'm realizing my perfectionism, which I haven't been letting win much lately, has really been kicking my ass. And for the past month and a half, I've been really stopped on this idea. So I'm done with this crap of being stopped, and it's not gonna be perfect. I'm gonna get it done. So, hey, thank you. Good to see you, Cliff. Oh, I didn't even realize how many of these were in here. Let's see. Hey, what's up, man? Made a new profile picture with Photoshop. Glad to see you, Scooter Kid. Heard you at the restaurant, was getting ice cream, but didn't want to interrupt you and your mom. Oh, Sam, you should have came and said hi. I would have loved it. I would have introduced you to my mom. Yeah, people watch this less news would have no change yet because no one will watch. The money will go down. I'll make the beat, work on the music. Friend who is a rapper. All good, just take practice part, be aware of it. Thanks. Love your channel. Hey, thanks, Pip. So I think that's all I had to talk about today. But yeah, as a millennial, I think one of the things that someone coming out of college is trying to figure out the balance of what kind of relationship you want to have with your colleagues. And I think sometimes, my mom was telling me about this. She was a teacher for 36 years, and she said one of the challenges teachers have is they want to be fun, they want to be goofy, and I think there is a lot of goofy inside teachers. You have to be a pretty savage person to be a teacher sometimes. So I think they don't want to let that goofy out, because if they let the goofy out, it might be hard to get the students to be able to rein them back in. So I can see where people might want to stray away from doing something goofy like that. But at the same time, I've already let mine way out with the Gucci Gang video. So I don't really have. I think I've done a fairly good job reining in my students, but I can see why people might not want to respond. But at the same time, it's all in my damn head. I haven't even asked any specific teachers to join me in this. So tomorrow, I'm promising I'm going to ask at least 3 teachers if they would like to participate in my video, and I'm going to offer to do it tomorrow after school, Thursday after school, or Friday after school. But the fact is, so I'm going to get it done. All right. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you to my viewers. Thank you for the 3 people that are still on. Wish I had teachers like it. Well, I don't know how chill I am in the actual classroom. I'd like to think I am, but I don't know if there's a possibility that you could end up having me, Pip. But yeah, feel free to leave in the comments anything you'd like me to teach you about. This channel is mostly dedicated to things that don't really belong in the math class, because I think I teach enough about math all day. I really like talking about personal development. You remember I was there. Hope everything good. You remember I was there. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Skull Crusher. All right. I'm gonna head out. It's bedtime. It is 10:47. I talked about getting sleep last night. Sometimes I just like talking with my mom too much. We have a really good relationship. No, I know it's you. All right. I'm headed to bed at my parents' house. Alyssa's up with her parents doing laundry on her side. Oh, I see what you're saying. Thanks, thanks, Skull Crusher. Thanks. All right. If you like this, give it a like. If you want more, hit the subscribe button. If this is a channel that's influenced you in a positive way, I invite you to share it with a friend that you think this could make a difference for, or you think maybe even a teacher that you think could take some advice from me, or a teacher that you'd like to share this with, and it might inspire them to make videos because they're chill too. So thank you for watching. Stay weird, humans. Yeet!